There are 6 ideas I want to share with you about how to make your curriculum far more effective, far more values-based, far more oriented to world-class learning. The first thing is always make it personal. The student has to engage with the experience of learning, whether it's the topic that really fires them. More importantly, it's going to be your motivation, your enthusiasm, your engagement, and trying to think about how you bring that out in an online environment. It is possible. It is possible. Secondly, focus on student learning. It's not about you delivering content. It's not about the assessment through examinations. It's really thinking of what's the journey that the student's going to take through the course of the semester with you. Consider one-on-one discussions. Not always easy if you've got hundreds of students, but are the ways in which your university provides that support. How do we engage students? I'm lucky. I have a maximum of 40 students in a class. Still very time consuming to meet one-on-one with them. Well, maybe think about during any synchronous sessions that you're contemplating having surgery hours. Maybe just allocating 15 minutes in each class where the students can spend a minute with you and the rest of the students can go and have a coffee break, stretch their legs or whatever. It's really helping you to connect with the students, but more importantly, helping them to feel as though it's about them. Another very powerful tool is really forming something called action learning sets. This can be teams that you use for projects within your course, but more importantly, try and think of it wider across the whole of the semester, that you get students in small groups, maybe 4, maybe 5 at the most, to really help each other as they go through the course itself. And that's the team that they work with in their in-class discussions. It's the team they work with on team projects, but it's also who they work with on individual projects. I mean, obviously we've got to be mindful of plagiarism, and I'll talk a lot more about that in assessment planning, but action learning sets, really helpful way to make it personal. I'm a big fan of learning journals. This is one way to make it very personal. Allow the students to keep a journal during the course of the semester. Get them to include their lecture notes, get them to include all of their assignments, but get them to include their thoughts, things that they've found that they're bringing to the subject. And finally, personalised assessments. I'm not a big fan of exams at the best of times, but in the online environment, we know there are issues around just configuring an examination that we're secure with. So personalise assessments. Get the students to choose a subject for the topic that you're trying to explore. Not always possible, obviously. It depends on your course, but think about how can an individual make an assessment personal to them. Firstly, it gets their interest. Secondly, they follow their passion. Thirdly, for you, it means that you haven't got to worry so much about plagiarism, about collusion. I teach business, so one of the things I get the students to do is choose a subject, either a country, a phenomena, a company, a region, an experience. I get them to go out and think about service experiences. I get them to choose a company such as Nike to do a supply chain analysis. I get them to think of an issue such as recycling plastics as a topic for them to explore. So 6 key points here. Make it personal, focus on student learning, consider one-on-one discussions between you and your students, form action learning sets, action learning groups, use learning journals, and personalise assessments. More of this in later videos.